Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Dofus, episodes 9 and 10. So, it's been a long fucking time since we've reacted to Dofus. I believe the last episode we reacted to was, obviously episode 8, but I believe it was in June of last year, before we dropped the series. Now, as you may know, if you had been following my reactions to the series, I dropped it mostly due to the fact that I felt it was a little childish compared to Wakfu. I felt that it was not really going much of anywhere. I wasn't a fan of its super episodic style to the point where it was just like each episode was its own story. Just this tale from Cherub's past. And I didn't like how the first two episodes teased the one girl who's living with Cherub and Joris as the main character, when it actually ended up being Cherub himself, or Cherubim, or whatever you want to say. Now, since dropping it, I have learned a few things about the series. I do know, for example, that the girl, I want to say it's Simone, but I do know that she ends up having a girlfriend in the end. And I have seen pictures of the girlfriend. So I do know about that. I do know that apparently, I guess, the little cute doggy girl from the movie appears in, I want to say it's one episode, I was told, of the series. I also know that you guys told me that the series is really just still hit or miss with the episodes, especially with what you think I would be into. But when I initially dropped it, I didn't drop it because my interest in the series had dropped to close to zero, or zero in itself. I dropped the series because of just feeling meh on it. And recently I just basically announced, I guess you could say, that I'm not going to do that anymore. That I'll only drop a series if my interest in it does reach less than 10%. So, I've decided to bring back a lot of the shows that I did drop for the wrong reasons. And this is one of them. Now, this is on the Friday slot, because the Friday slot is now for specifically Mega Stream donation reward reactions. See, Dofus was originally a donation reward for a Mega Stream last year. In fact, I think it might have been the first Mega Stream. Either way. And yeah, I feel really guilty about having dropped it for the wrong reasons, especially while it was a donation reward. And so I've decided to, that's another reason I've decided to bring it back. So, yeah. Fridays will be, are from this point forward, donation reward days. Like, for example, the next one after Dofus will be time I was reincarnated as a slime, which was a donation reward from this recent live stream. Well, the recent mega stream. So yeah, going back into this again, it's been almost a year. I'm like a couple months short of a year, since I last watched Dofus. Not counting the movie, which, by the way, the movie was fantastic. There were a couple issues with it, but in general, the movie was fantastic. And really the only stuff I've had going with anything related to the Krasmas has been just continuing to play Krasmaga and continuing to I've watched a few episodes of season 1 of Wakfu again with Do You Want to Build a Universe's reactions, and of course I've done my World of Wakfu videos. So yeah. I really haven't had a whole lot of interaction with this stuff, especially with the Dofus timeline. But I'm interested to get back into it, and again, even if I'm feeling more or less meh on it going forward, I'm not going to drop it unless I truly feel like it reaches less than 10% in my interest factor, my interest in continuing on. Which, honestly, I don't think it will, because, again, I was very meh on it, like around 50 to 60% on it before. It still had enough to keep my interest, and it still showed enough possibilities. So I don't think that it's going to reach that point where it just straight up drops that low. Even with a bad episode. Like, even, I remember one of the episodes I really didn't like was the one where it showed the one dog guy who was, I think he was the grandfather of the cute little dog girl. I cannot remember their names right now. But the dog guy was Kiribim's rival, I guess, especially for the one girl's hand in love and all. And I think the episode just really devolved into poop jokes and shit like that. Pun intended. But yeah, it was just really stupid, and I hate that kind of humor. I really hate that kind of humor. It takes a lot for me to actually find that kind of humor funny. You really have to fucking pull that off, and it's very, very rare when someone does. But either way, yeah. Even with a bad episode like that, I don't think it would bring me down that much. Like, if I started at 60%, that wouldn't even bring me down to 50, I think. It would be more disappointing than anything else, and it'd probably bring me down to somewhere around 55. It'd bring me about halfway down to the next 10-pointer. You know what I mean. But yeah. It would really have to suck, or really have to do something offensive or shit to really bring me down that much. But I'm gonna I'm giving it another chance, and hopefully there are enough episodes that impress me. And hopefully it's worthwhile. We're probably normally gonna do 3 episodes a week. We're only doing 2 this week because I have something else to record today. And plus the live stream, of course, so just everything together. So I'm only doing 2 today. But because it's a half-length series, each episode's half-length, I'll probably do 3, just like I do with Loud House and OKKO. So, yeah. In the meantime, we are just going to get started on this. So, when the screen fades to black... Pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play, because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I'm confused. I'm confused, and I want some of you to help me out with this, to help me try to understand what's going on. I remember from when I watched the first 8 episodes of these back last year, I remember thinking that this show was extremely childish, very unfunny, going in a direction I felt like was misleading from where it started, and just in general, very, very formulaic and episodic, and not in a necessarily good way. And what I need you to help me understand is, how is this the same show? These 2 episodes were actually fantastic. I actually really loved both of these episodes. How is this the same show that I remember feeling really meh about? I mean, granted, this could just be 2 very good episodes. This could just be like it just happens to have gotten to that point, which actually makes it kind of funny. It's like I dropped it right before two very good episodes before. um, that's actually really funny to me. um, but let's go over these. Okay, so episode 9, Carib is telling the story while he's sick from drinking too much and all. He's telling the story about how he found this magical horn that can basically cure any sickness or pain or anything like that. So he won a pirate ship in a card game, but the pirates didn't take too well to it. They tried to throw him overboard, but he made a deal with the god Ekaflip, and Ekaflip gave him unbelievable luck. So he threw a cup and it took out all of the pirates and shit. And so the captain made him captain, and they went on their way to find this horn. They get to the island where it's supposed to be. Almost all of them are taken out by these mosquitoes, which made them gravely ill. And the only ones left are Carib and the pirate former captain, now first mate of Carib. I think her name was Macra. So they go into the temple, they find the horn, but there's one last thing stopping them, and that's a giant mosquito. They manage to stop him, but Macra kind of sacrifices herself in the end. She's basically acting as a distraction, trying to fight it off while Carib goes for the horn, and she gets bitten. Carib defeats the mosquito, he gets the horn, he heals her, and then they go and get the others and heal them as well. So yeah, pretty simple, basic idea. I think what really made this work is Carib and Macra actually had phenomenal chemistry. And it's weird because Lou is clearly Carib's love interest. That's undeniable. That's where this is going. But he had better chemistry with Macra. I'll be honest. Him and Macra seem to have more of a comparable personalities. They seem to be more into the same kind of stuff. They appreciated each other's valor and strength and courage and whatnot. The way they worked off of each other, the loyalty they ended up showing each other was phenomenal. And when you compare it to Lou, even in the second episode here, they're nothing alike, Carib and Lou. Carib and Lou have extremely differentiating interests. They show a lot of times, and I believe I remember from the first 8 episodes as well, back when I watched those, that they really didn't have much of any chemistry, romantic or otherwise. So it's just like, I've never really supported the ship. And, I mean, I don't necessarily support her being with Indy either. Indy's a little twat. But at the same time, it's like, there's really no romantic chemistry with her and Carib. So it's kind of confusing to me how they focus on that as the romantic pairing. I mean, compare it to Wakfu. Like, Ava and Tristapin ended up together, and they had legitimate chemistry. Honestly, right from the beginning, right when they first met, there was a legitimate chemistry built between them that continued to progress. Yes, at first, she found him annoying, and he was being a bit annoying, and he just was, like, pining over her because she's pretty, and she very much is. But you see, as the series went on, that they actually began to bond and began to work together. They appreciated each other for more than just appearances or whatnot. She saw the valor and courage in him. She saw how loyal of a friend he could be. And he saw her as more than just a pretty face, as someone who could handle herself and protect her friends. And it really made his sacrifice at the end of season 1 means so much more, especially with how hard she took it, which is why I'm still upset that they brought him back. But the point is, even when he was brought back and they were reunited and everything, their relationship continued to grow, and it felt natural. It felt very well handled. And Carib and Lou are just the complete opposite of that. even Yugo and Amalia feel better handled, and they're not even as well done as Tristapin and Ava, not by a long shot. Um, I just feel like Lou and and Carib don't belong together, and it's wild because you see this other ship that's it's like we're likely not going to see Macra again. We're likely not going to see her again, and if we do, it's going to be like maybe one more time, one more episode where he goes back to tell more stories about his pirate adventures. Um, that's probably going to be it, but even if that. But at the same time, it's like he has legitimate chemistry with her in this short amount of time. And it's insane. It's insane. And I mean, on top of it, again, I'm on top of it, and I'm not just saying this as a reason for their chemistry, but on top of it, she's a really likable character. Yes, she's extremely cute in her design, but just in general, she's really likable. She has a good personality. She has um, a really fun character to her. She comes across as someone you want to root for, someone you want to see succeed. I mean, I'm watching this and I see her get bit by the giant mosquito thing, and it was like, oh, no, I don't want to see that because I actually grew to like her so much. But when it's with Lou, it's like, I mean, I don't necessarily like despise Lou or anything. It's just she's definitely not as likable to me. She comes across as Lou comes across as very self-centered and very materialistic. She's very easily impressed and way too quick to flip-flop on her thoughts and mindsets. Um, and it just, I don't know, she's just not as likable to me. Um, so it's just like this first episode, just going back to that, was so good. It was so entertaining, so fun. I really just got a kick out of it. And then there's the second episode, which despite my misgivings about Lou, I actually did enjoy this. So we see Carib and Lou are hanging out in town. They're basically, you could say, on a date. And they're trying to find stuff to do. Lou is just going gaga, wanting to visit all the shops and sites and stuff. Carib isn't really that interested in the stuff. For example, we see them go to a clothing store. She's trying on different outfits, and he likes the last one she tries on, and we see her wearing that from that point forward and all. But it's like he doesn't seem that interested overall. We also see that she didn't seem super interested in the last dress as much as the first two, kind of leading towards what I said before about them not really having similar interests or tastes or anything at all. They're being followed around by this guy trying to sell them sites and stuff. Carib in general isn't really enjoying himself. He's not really having fun, but she's having a blast. She's wanting to check out everything. But eventually they get into a fight and kind of split up. Now, he wants to make it up to her. He does, and I will give him that. He does want to legitimately make it up to her. His way of doing so is by going to study under this painter and have his art featured in this exhibit. Now, at first we see he's pretty terrible. Kind of what you'd expect. But then we find out that apparently whenever he gets extremely emotional, he kind of loses his shit and kind of paints out of pure, just pure energy and emotion and everything. And it can actually turn out pretty well. The first time we see him do it, there's not really anything to the art. It's just a bunch of colors. But the actual way the colors are laid out and the way they blend together actually is pretty good. Again, there's not really much to the painting. And the master painter, I cannot remember, it was like Vax or something. He told Carib, it's like, you have potential. He didn't say that this painting was great or anything, but it's like, I see that potential. So he's trying to train him more, trying to go through all of these different models and stuff. I like at the end where it's just all of the girls wearing nothing but towels surrounding the one dude, the Eop dude. And it's like, what is this harem situation? It's like, I get that there's a lot of cases where this kind of stuff is done. Um, in art, when you have the models like sitting together in certain positions and stuff. Yeah, of course. And there's a lot of situations where the models will be straight up naked too. Of course, usually covering their modesty. Like if they're a woman, they'll have their arm over their breasts and stuff. Um, Various things like that. You get the idea. Um, but at the same time, it's just like obviously they're not going to do that for this show. So showing them in towels and stuff and showing the EOP guy shirtless, that's the most they can do. But still, it kind of invokes that same feeling. It's like we know what's going on here. We understand this, and it's like seeing them all surrounding him like that. It's like okay, it's not like too risky or anything, but it's teetering there. um, so Carib is not doing well again, and we see once again he imagines everyone pretty much as Lou, and he sees Lou as mocking him for his inadequacy, and goes nuts again. Um, so we see them go to the art museum. We see Indy is there with Lou. They come across Carib, and then they find out Carib is the featured artist of the showcase. So they go up to him and see his art, and Indy doesn't like it, but Lou and pretty much everyone else is in love with it. And when they actually show it, I have to say, it's pretty damn good. Like, it's not the best art piece I've ever seen, of course, of course. But for a show like this, and for the context of everything, it's pretty good. Like the faces and everything, the way they're spread out, the specific expressions, the colors that are matching them, again, the way things blend into each other, it actually works really well. And it actually surprises me a bit. And here's the thing, there are people like that. There are people who can do some great feats of art, but only in like emotional fits and stuff, or when they're like in certain mindsets. There are people who can only do certain music, can only be good at playing certain music and stuff when they're emotional, when they're sad, or when they're angry and stuff. Because that emotion comes out through the music. And the same can be said about a lot of artists, a lot of paintings and stuff. So it's like, yeah, you get what it's going for. Obviously, this is a bit of an extreme example. Going from completely crappy work to something that's actually pretty damn good. Yeah, it's not going to happen that easily. It's not going to be that extreme of an example in real life. But you get what it's going for. And as I said, Lou is flip-flops really fucking easily and goes right back to him because of this, and it's like, oh, we're gonna go eat. Emotion makes me hungry. I thought that line was hilarious, but... and I like the line that the episode kind of ended off on. It's like, Joris asks Carib, like, why is it fortunate that it's a woman art appraiser? And he's like, because women have good taste. And that's a nice note to end off on. And again, as I kind of said at the end of the reaction, it's like we know why he said that. Because obviously it plays into the backstory, as well as kind of makes him probably feel good about his own history with art and shit. It's a little self-serving for sure, but it's still a very nice idea. Like you're even if you have some kind of slightly selfish reason for saying it, you're still complimenting women, and it's always nice. And it's not like he's saying like guys don't have a good taste. He's just saying like, oh, women have good taste in art, and it's like, okay, I can dig that. I can dig that. I can see that as a genuine compliment. Um, But either way, these two episodes were really freaking good. And as I said at the beginning of these afterthoughts, it's like, how is this the same show? How is this the same show that I remember feeling very meh about? How is this the same show that I dropped back in June of last year? How is this the same show that disappointed me so much yet I come back to it, and 2 episodes back to back really just hit it out of the park. And again, as I also said, maybe it's just coincidence that I ended up dropping the series before 2 of its better episodes. Maybe so. But at the same time, I think that's just great. That's just funny. And I'm really glad I picked this up again. I'm really glad that I chose to pick this up. I almost didn't, because I was told by a couple of you in the Discord chats and stuff that it probably wouldn't be worth it to pick it up again, because you felt like I might dislike more of it than I would like. You felt it wouldn't be worth it in the end. But I mean, just off of these 2 episodes, I feel it was very much worth it. And obviously, we don't know where. Well, I don't know where it's going to go in the future, and it's hard to say how I'm going to feel about future episodes. Who knows? But yeah, I just really love these, and I'm so glad that I did pick this up again for the sake of these Mega Stream donation reward reactions. I am really glad. So yeah, next week we'll probably start just doing 3 episodes each week from there on. Again, the only reason I didn't this week is because of the not only just the live stream, because I do that every Friday, but because I have another thing to record, and it's going to take a bit of time. So, and at this point, it's already almost 4. So yeah, I just want to make sure I can get to everything and still have time for, you know, my own other stuff. So either way, tell me what you thought of these episodes in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,